What's going on, man? We having a party today. Everybody log in. Better log in, boy. Who is in the building? Y'all been waiting. Woo! Party today, son. What's up, everybody? 2022. Yo! Woo! What's up, y'all? What's up to all my Chicago heads? Miss y'all. What's up? Live from the new place. Woo, come on. Evelyn! What's up, mama? Been too long. Here's my cousin Evelyn's on here. What's up, prima? Little bit more. Walk around, smile on your face. Woo! Now, I'm going to get Steve on here. I'm going to ask him a couple questions. Here we go. Oh, that's a jam. Hey, we got Wi-Fi problems. We'll figure it out. What's going down, baby? We're going to let some people log in. What? Oh, in vain now I see there's no use in trying. You're too late, can't you see there's no use in trying? All in vain, what I gave you just took for granted. Woo! I just can't stand it. That's just beast. To come up with an idea like that, you got to be sick in the brains. You had a little 15-year-old kid going absolutely crazy trying to kiss every single girl I saw because of this record. Because this song was like, listen to that. We're going to talk about that later on. For you that don't know, welcome to the Bochinche Sessions. It is now 8:02. It is your boy, the original criminal, the only one that gets down like meow. You know what I'm saying? It's this cat, your boy Bear Who, a.k.a. Fuzzy Cufflinks, in the building, representing my little talk show where we just talk mierda. I can't say shit today, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But welcome to the Bochinche Sessions. It's going to be a great season of doing this. Last year was a little bit of relocation. As y'all know, now I'm in Miami. Oh, in vain, now I see there's no use in trying. You're too what? There's no use denying. Oh, in vain, what I get. Come on, man. Steve Sook Hurley is on my show today to kick off 2022. The match, man, we can't say enough. Like, so before I came in, my wife and I were preparing. She's like, you gotta look, she's dope on the lights and decoration. Props to Pooja, my wife, she's a beast in everything she does. And she's like, yo, we gotta do the lights, whatever. Cause me, I do shit the way I want to do it. Nice and chill, I don't care. It's just Bear, you know what I mean? She's like, nah, we gotta do it. Especially being that who we got on the show. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna kick it off. Steve Sook Hurley. Steve Sook Hurley has been doing this longer than anybody if you think about it. Because the shit started with my man, right? There's arguments in Chicago. You see the Bochinche Sessions, what the Bochinche Sessions is basically me kicking it with one of my homies that happens to be one of the homies, you dig? Like 3J, you're out here, 3J's a big homie. So when 3J's out here, it's just like kicking it with my homie, right? So I'm like, yo, I gotta have some homies down here, so I was like, I gotta reach out to the man. I'm on the label. I've done some cuts for SNS, absolutely. So I gotta get the man out here. So right now I have an opportunity to speak to a childhood hero, no doubt. Now through the years, I've been doing this now quite some time myself, mind you. But now here we are in year 2022, and I have the opportunity to go one-on-one with this man. Now, we stay in contact. No bullshit. People that know Skip, I hope you're out here, DJ Skip. We stay in contact. And he's somebody I look up to, absolutely. But he's somebody that I know has known how to rock the game. Because the motherfucker's still doing it. Still doing it, right? Shout out. Look at this. Hector Lavoe shirt. Same gang. Hector Lavoe. Come on. Yo fellas Boricua. Come on, man. You know me. The Grima joint. Come on, man. DJ Skip is in the building. We're going to get into Skip a little bit later. He didn't want to be on the show because he's like, yo, Bear, It's got to be about Steve, man. And that man is a damn genius. So, mad love to Skip. Skippy in the house. Yo, call everybody. Tell them that we're having a little party. I haven't seen some of you mothers for a couple years. This is our chance to get on. I'm going to be bringing Steve on in a second. No doubt we're going to get Steve on, of course. But I'm in the lab. Today I decided to get a bottle of wine. Why did I decide to get a bottle of wine? Because it's Steve motherfucking Hurley on. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna chop it up just like homies do. And it just so happens that my homie happens to be Steve Silk Hurley. What? Do I deserve it? You damn right. You know why? Because I've been doing this shit for almost 40 years, bro. Damn Skippy. So, getting back to that, Steve was one of the reasons, if not the reason, I do what the hell I'm doing and why this is all about what I do, right? I'm in the car with my father. This is 83, right? About 10 years old. Boom. My dad's taking me to school or whatever. My dad was into funk, disco, badass shit, right? I hear, Jack. Come on. I was like, yo, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. No bullshit. 10 years old. I just turned 49, 39 years. Okay, enough said. And everybody that's around me, that's in my circle and knows me, you know damn well this is what I've done. And lifted a lot of weights. What up to Prototype Gym? Dominic, what up? Look at that. I'm looking at it. I can see it. Look at the arm. Boy. Shit. It is rocking and rolling up in Miami, baby. Let's see who else comes on today. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask my man Steve Silk Hurley to jump on because I'm going to keep going. I got my wine. You know I'm straight. I got some old school stuff just playing in the background, but we're not going to take it and keep it at old school. Oh, no. Why? Because, yo, it ain't where you from, it's where you're at. I'm a Zulu Nation brother. I believe in that shit. It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. I'm in Miami right now. Chicago with me forever. What up, Pamp? Pamp is going to be on the show in a few weeks. One of the, if not the fiercest house MC, or period. Got some shit popping with him. Skip, we got to bring Pamp over to SNS, man. I'm telling you. We got to do it. Skip, Steve, we got to bring Pamp over to SNS. I think 3J can make about 25 tracks in about 2 weeks. I'm telling you. Put our money where our mouth is, baby. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. DJ, one and only. I'm going to ask him to get on right now. Steve, request to get on this video, please. And I'm going to have the honor of kicking it with Steve Silk Hurley. I mean, you have to, it's just crazy. I'm just looking at it right now. No, I don't want that. What's up, Leon? Yo, get everybody up, man. I haven't seen you guys forever. You know how I bring it. Now I got my own little show. I got my wine. Now we're ready for Steve. In the meantime, you're talking about a generation of kids that just went ape for this music. And then you put costumes on. Then you got on stage. And then you put vocals on it. And then your haircuts were dope. You had it rocking and rolling, bro. What up, Leon? We are in the building here. We're in what I call the temple. My temple. Everybody that comes over is just another vibe here. That's what's going on, man. That is what's going on. Bochinche sessions. We're talking about whatever. Leon, we're gonna have to. I know Leon's got some stories. What else is going on out there? Who else is there? Yo, Pam's only going to be here. Winter Music Conference or the Miami Music Week is coming up. I'm going to have some surprises. Next week, I'm going to announce who I'm going to have on Bochinche Sections next week. Oh, yeah. The key is too locked. Woo! DJ Baby Huey in the building. Oh, my goodness. 13 people. Come on, man. We got Steve Silk Hurley on today, man. Woo! You know, Steve, I'm over here listening and trying to get all the stuff together too over here on my end things. I'm down to come. Oh yeah, man, it's gonna be popping. We are in here. Where's Steve at? Where's Steve at? Let's see where I get Steve in here, man. St. John Birchman. That's right. I said St. John Birchman. Oh, man, the hat does look tight. The hat looks tight. Shout out to my homeboy Loco Cuts, who's my new barber. After I had to make the change. Boy. We all good. Look at that. Woo! It's been a minute, Bear, who haven't seen you in the house block party. Yo. So we're talking Chicago, right? We're talking summer. We're talking more music coming out. There he is. Requested to put boom, boom, boom. Where is Steve at? Why can't I get Steve in here? Let's see if I can get Steve in here. Steve Silk Hurley. Uh-oh. Do I got Steve out here already? Let's see. Let me see. I don't got anything from Steve Silk Hurley. Come on now. We got the key. You and me. We got the key. Where's Mr. Hurley at? Let me see if I can get him out here real quick. Music is the key to get yourself free. Ooh. Let's get Steve out here. Let's see what's going down, man. I think somebody's coming on.
There we go. There we go.
There we go. Oh, I think we're gonna have to flip your camera, brother.
Oh man, messed up my whole view.
Can we do that? Oh! Oh!
Yo.
Look at what we have behind you, man. Right off the bat, we see that beautiful. So what is that? So right behind you is Lauryn Hill. So the first thing I had. What is the Lauryn Hill thing right there? What is that all about? What is that?
Every ghetto, every city, she used Jack Your Body. Biz used to rock the party. Jack your body. That's what she said.
So are you saying that Lauryn Hill's basically is a house head that was like, yo, Jack your body?
Yeah. She used to go to this club called Sensations, and Biz Markie, Queen Latifah, a lot of people from the hip hop world, actually, a lot of the Jersey people used to go to this club called Sensations in Jersey, and they used to support the heck out of us. We actually performed there. Yeah, so.
Into it too quick. Everybody, the man, the myth, the legend, the Godfather himself, one of my idols in life, Steve Silk Hurley. Man,
right.
You know, I'm going to like, you know, try to jump through all of the accolades and all that real quick, bro. Much love.
All right. Hey,
thank you for being there with me. You're always on the phone with me. You're always telling me, Bear, you know, So thanks for that, man. Thanks for spending some time with us. You jumped into it. I'm going to go there already. So we're going to talk like homies, like we always do. You know what I mean? Like I'm curious. So you mentioned right off the bat, Lauryn Hill, Queen Latifah.
Yep.
You had a major, huge influence in the native tongue house, step into my house, that kind of did you see that coming? Did that come through you? I mean, the house music really hit that hip hop nation, because I was involved with it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, a lot of the you know, when we started doing shows in Jersey and New York, Paradise Garage, just man, so many places. The Zanzibar was like the joint where Tony Humphries was at, and he booked us to perform there, like, I don't know, about 7 or 8 times, like, and all those people that used to come down there, they were like Jamanda, who I did that remix for, they were like part of that crew as well, as far as coming out to see Tony Humphries at the Zanzibar. So they had an appreciation for our music, we had an appreciation for theirs. You know, the people from Jersey were like, think about that group Visual back in the day. The music's got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like those people that produced that record, and Paul Simpson. You don't know. You know what I'm talking about? That Paul Simpson.
You don't know.
A like Use Me, Lose Me and all that stuff. Yeah, like that was their crew, their post disco, after disco, they were doing their thing out there. And then we were doing our thing. So we had a mutual respect for what they were doing. And then when we started our thing, they supported what we were doing. So it was like really cool
Were
for
you
them to.
were you in the booth with them a lot? I mean, I'm talking about vocals. I'm talking about behind the booth. Were you in production with these guys at the
Which
time?
ones?
Like any of like the Queen Latifahs during the whole
No,
hour?
I found out later. That they were a part of that scene. So they could have been there, and I might have bumped into them, or I might have, because sometimes I used to dance at the party too. After we performed, I might come out in the crowd and dance with them because it was such a cool crowd. I felt like I was at home. So I could have been dancing with Queen Latifah for all I know. Because they're, house music is not like a status type of thing. You know what I mean? People don't really judge you like that. That's why I think I gravitated to it. And that's, just being in places where it was all about the music first before anything else. I would have never known that I was dancing with somebody like Queen Latifah or Lauryn Hill or any of the other artists that embraced house music. Later on in life, I found out a lot of people that
You
embraced house music. And I didn't know about it then
right.
because it wasn't like we were celebrities from a pop culture type of thing. We were like in the underground scene, but we had people recognizing our music, but they didn't put a face to the music, until when we had the Jam Silk album. Of course, we had a stylist and all that stuff, and we got to see what the music business really was. So we got a little taste of it, but we weren't a priority like the R&B groups or the pop groups. We were just the dudes doing house music.
Tell me what you just said right now. I got it because Bear Hoop Fuzzy Companies. We had this discussion. I love being an artist. I love jumping on the mic. I love making my vocals. I love doing all of that. What made you go, man? I got to do this. I got to make this JM Silk like a band. I got to get up on stage. I got to dress up. I mean, how did that all come about, man? Because when you guys did that, you changed the game forever. I mean,
Man, I did it. I have to admit,
real talk.
I have to admit, I became a performer while kicking and screaming because what ended up happening, my art was DJing and bringing my Tascam 4-track and playing the tracks that I made at home and letting people hear what I was working on. And, I had just done like when I would DJ, I would be playing the music that I just produced that day at the party. This was before I even started doing records. This was like 83, 84. So I was like making my own music. So that to me was my artistry. But when I brought Keith Nunley in to sing, he was like a real artist that had been in groups.
Did you know at that time that you needed a vocalist? Where you're like, okay, I got this rhythm, I got this beat. Like,
well, I wasn't confident in myself as a singer, just being honest, because I had never done it. So I was in my bedroom making up songs and I was singing them and people were dancing to them and they weren't complaining about the vocals, but I still felt like, man, I want the vocals to be like next level, man. Like I'm not trying to just halfway do it. I wanted to be next level. So I got who I felt was the best, most well-known person in Chicago that had a great voice that sounded like Luther Vandross, like Heatwave or whatever. Like he grew up winning talent shows and being in bands. So that was his world. So it was like our worlds came together, and that's what made JM Silk become a group as opposed to just my DJ name, Jack Master Silk. That was my DJ name that I changed to JM Silk. And then when we had the group, when the first record came out, we were like, let's just call it JM Silk, because that's what my DJ name was. And that's why you always said the JM Silk. JM Silk. You know what I'm saying? So that was
think about this. I'm playing a record that was saying another dude's name over and over again, and the shit sounded great. Like I'm still as a young kid, I was do JM Silk, but that dude.
Thanks for not being a hater and for embracing my stuff, man. Like, because when you think about it, that is pretty cool that somebody else will play your name on a record like that. I mean, that's the ultimate compliment. So I'm grateful for anybody who played that record, because I made it just to play at the parties, but then when we did Jack Your Body, they're like, well, let's just put that on the back of the record. And the homemade version that came out, that never came out, let's just put that on there too. You know, so
Dude, genius. So dude, I'm bugging out. You gotta help me out, bro. Since I've been around the house, there is plaque after plaque on that wall. You gotta tell me a little bit what the hell's going on behind you, dude. You got the Lauryn Hill joint. And then what's the thing about their awards?
Like
Can we see some of
those are my Grammy nominations. Like it was 4 of them.
Those are the
So
Grammy.
like for different years that I was nominated for doing different remixes, Brandy and
You won
Higher
Writer of the Year too.
Vanessa, huh?
You won ASCAP Writer of the Year. Am I right?
Yeah, I got that. That's somewhere. That's downstairs. Like I'm redoing my studio. I'm in the office right now. So I'm actually redoing my studio right now. So some of that stuff is down there in the studio. But I think that other one is that's a Too Blind to See It. And then there's CC. And I got Michael Jackson on the other wall. Wait, I think I might be able to flip this. Wait, how do I flip
the
this?
Michael Jackson remixes? Well, all your remixes are funky. I'm gonna be real.
There's Mike.
There's Michael. Everybody, understand what you're seeing right now.
And that's
Bochinche
that's Prince right there.
Prince.
Yeah.
So all my peoples, all my friends and family, understand what you're seeing right now on Bochinche sessions. Steve Silverani is showing us his bangers. And some of us don't even understand what that even means.
Oh, I did say CC too, right? You see her right there over my shoulder.
CC's right there. CC is right there.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Pam is gonna have a few of those, right, Pam? I know a couple people. Yep. Ghetto Blaster, 3J. Ooh, baby.
Cool.
The label, SNS. You had a few labels. I mean, M-Doc and you had some smash hits. M-Doc to me is not next to Pam. I would put Pam and M-Doc in the same level. That's how dope I think Pam is. But M-Doc is percussion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was just a kid when he did that.
Move On. What was another record with M-Doc that was big? Move It or Move. Anyway, I'll figure out what it was.
Yeah, when you think of that. Man,
it hit like number 3 or number 4 in the UK. What was the
Whatever makes it? No, was that the name of it? Whatever You Need.
Whatever You Need, something like that.
Was that? Yeah, that's one of them that was big UK.
Who knows M-Doc? If you guys know who M-Doc is, show some love for M-Doc, one of the original pioneers of fiercest MC.
And one of my co-writers, one of my best co-writers. Like he could, if I write a song, like say I came up with the verse and the chorus, and I'm like, man, that second verse, I need something like this, but I just can't come up with it. I'll be like, hey Doc, come in here, and then he'll just have it written in like 5 minutes, like because he's just real good with the pen.
Did he write his percussion?
Huh? He wrote. I think I wrote 2 verses, and then
no
I had him,
way.
And then are
you serious?
And then I had perpetration can't be taken, keep it shaking just right. Like so.
Wait. Guys, did you see that? Did you guys just see that? Say that again. Do it again.
Take it, keep it shaking just right. Bass drums, snare drums. I forgot all that stuff.
You know why? You know why?
I'm not known for my memory because I'm always thinking of the next thing. But I remember I had like he was struggling to hit my rhymes because I wasn't a real rapper or nothing. I was just coming off the dome with something I thought was creative. And then I let him do his own verse. And his own verse, I think his verse was the one that listen to the percussion, drums and snares, and if you're ready to jack to this jamming track, somebody say, "Oh yeah!" Like that was his verse. Like his sounded more like a real hip hop verse. Mine was just like whatever I came up with. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to have some kind of authenticity to it, because I wasn't a hip hop guy. I was a fan of hip hop, but
guys, this is deep. We're gonna stop for 2 seconds because I want everybody that's out here to understand this is a wine, get a drink, chill out kind of moment. Yes, Steve Silk Hurley. I'm with Bear Who on my little Bochinche little episode, and I'm so happy. So everybody understand what's going on here, man. Thank you, brother. Have a drink because you know
Water.
I know. So if you don't know, there's two things I know about Steve, and this is since I was a teenager, and we kind of, we're in the same rooms together because I started early. Steve's a health nut. Like he's in
Somewhat. I'm a
he
foodie too,
plays.
so
He's been asking
I
me to come
love
play
all kinds of food
basketball,
though. So
and he knows he's gonna whip me. But I can play ball. I'm a little older now, so we'll see. But Skip and Steve have been asking me to come play. I remember we played a couple times with Bad Boy Bill and the fellas back in the
yeah,
day.
that's my favorite thing to do, even more than music probably.
It's
Like
basketball.
just being honest, just like I love the game. I love the strategy of the
Do
game.
you
Like it's just
follow the game about at all? I mean, like you're
oh
back.
for sure, for
Like
sure. I tried to tell everybody about the Bulls on the off season. They didn't want to listen to me, but they're listening now.
sick team, dude.
Yeah.
So
Even injured, we number one right now.
what is your opinion with the Kyrie Irving situation? What happened with the vaccine and all that? I'm curious to ask. You don't have to answer
I'm
anything you don't want.
I mean, only thing I can say is I think everybody has the right to decide what they want to do, but you also have the situation that you're in. You have to weigh out, how you feel about things along with what landscape you're in. So I think I think in due time they'll figure out how to work that out. You know, he got a slight compromise from them that he could play the home game, play the away games, but at some point, you know, they'll figure it out. You
Tom
know,
Brady
I
retiring. What's your take?
hey, you know what? I don't care if he retires and then he come back next year and say, hey, you know what? I feel pretty good. I mean, I feel that. I feel that when somebody says that. I've been
Yeah,
coming back every year. Every year I've been coming back and still playing ball. So I I don't ever hate on nobody for coming back when they old. You know, so
in the only
the older
few
you get, the wiser you get. So it's a
we
lot
are
of
we are
stuff that
we're in the few careers, and my career is based off of what you did. So thanks again. I'm going to say that every single time, people. Do you
oh man,
understand? There'd be no Bear Who, there was no Steve Hurley.
man, I
Period.
appreciate you.
You know what I mean? So when you
Man,
think about it in a whole, nobody's done it as long as you really and been able to stay. What was the driving force, man? Like age to us in this career, the older you get, the better, the more demand you're in. You're Steve Silk early, tons of plaques on the wall. You look great as hell. What's the key to that, man? For people that are like in it every night and just like there's no answer. I've been there.
I think it's just, when you do what you love, you could do it with a passion that you can't do things that you hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just me being able to write a song for a living or, get on the decks and mix other people's music with my music, and rock a crowd, all that stuff is stuff that I love to do. And if I can do that and still make a living and don't have to punch a clock doing something that I hate, which when I first did Music is the Key, I wrote that song while I was working for the city of Chicago, in a job where my ceiling was to make $11,000 a year. So at that point when I decided to quit that job, that was like a turning point for me to be able to do what I love for a living, and I never turned back since then. So that's something to be grateful for. So I think being grateful keeps you young as well. It gives you a certain energy and it gives you a certain amount of push in what you're doing to want to always improve yourself. I wake up every morning and I'm on YouTube with these buds on listening to, I just switched from the controller back to the CDJ 3000s now. So I had to study how to use Record Box versus Serato. So that became something that I had to actually study for weeks, just to understand how I can convert my library. And because I got tired of taking the computer everywhere I went. And I really like the fact of the different things you can do on the Pioneer gear. Over the last few years, they've upgraded it
I have it right
to be
next.
at where
I love it.
I'm able to do
Shout out
whatever
to
I was doing. Yeah, when
Roy
I
Davis
mean,
Jr. Destroy
shout out
Steve.
to Newmark, though, because they got behind me, and early on with the controller, and I stuck with them for a long time. And I enjoyed, being able to remix live on the Newmark gear, but now I kind of I want to be able to go wherever I want to go and walk in with a stick or SSD drive, and just rock the decks and not have
Was
to
it
worry about,
was it tough?
hmm,
First of all, Roy Davis Jr. just joined. Shout out
Roy.
to Roy Davis Jr.
I saw DJ Fats on there. I saw,
Who else is
man,
on here? Who else is on?
3J, man.
Ghetto
Let me see.
Blaster's on it. Ghetto Blaster's gonna be on here next week. Did I just say that?
Oh, Ghetto
Oh
Blaster.
man, dude.
Good old Paul.
Did you have any difficulty at all? So there was a period. Do you remember CDs when we used to walk around? Roy does. We all know we used to walk around with bags of CDs and play CDs versus the CD,
I
the USB drive.
I got my CD
Was there
case
ever a
over in the
moment when
corner.
you're just like, man, I'm done with this shit. I'm done with this technology shit. I'm just over it. I'm finished. I'm out.
The CDs, I didn't last long with the CDs. It was frustrating for me because, you know, when you start with vinyl, you're a visual music person because you're taking a record, you're picking it up, and this record that has the blue label with the little polka
Yeah,
dots on it.
yeah.
That's the record. That's the record that sounds like this. You're
Straight up.
associating
Right.
visual. You're associating visual with the sound. So with the CDs, everything is just it wasn't the same because there was no, unless you're gonna sit up and print out the label to each song and make a separate CD of it, then nah. And then I even went to a period where I had everything on the actual commercial CD. That was too much to maintain too, because like I'm starting over. I already got everything on vinyl, and I'm about to start over and try to get everything on CD. It was just too much. So when the digital came along, I was like, that's it for me. That's it. I'll just convert any
I
vinyl
think,
that's not out. I'll just convert that, and I'll do everything digital. And that's when I started using the controllers.
and haven't looked back.
Haven't looked back, but now I just double. I mean, I had the first CDJ 800, I think, and the 1000 maybe. I had those at first, but they didn't do all the stuff that you can do now in 3000. I mean, these are like mini computers now, so I could just, each one is a computer. Like I had some situations where my computer lock went down on me at a party a couple of times at the same venue. So that was it. That was
Shout
like the
out,
last.
shout
That
out
was
to
like
that
the last
promoter.
straw.
Good job, buddy.
Huh?
I said, shout out to that promoter.
Yeah. Yeah, it went out, but then somebody filled in for a second while I waited for my computer to boot up. But if something happened with the CDJs, it's just one CDJ out of the four that I'm using. So
I
I don't
have,
have to, yeah, I don't have
I
to
used
worry
to have
about that no
back
more.
problems, man, carrying all them damn records, man. I told everyone,
Oh
if you
man.
guys don't know, I got rid of my vinyl collection.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody
Congratulations.
knows that, but over the summer, over the move from Chicago to Miami, I brought all my thousands of records from Underground Construction to Casual to Strictly to every techno record you've ever heard. Shit from jumping music, from gramophone, from hip house, from hot jams, and I got rid of it. And I'm so
Wow.
happy. Peace out. Shout out to Technique Records here in Miami. They bought everything. So if you're
Wow.
looking for my record collection, hit them up. You can ask for Mike Deuce. If Mike's on here or Mikey, they can take it. I'm done with it, dude. I got my wine. You're just doing water today, right? Just water.
Nah. I might have a brew.
There you go. We still got some time, man. I'm not letting you off the hook that easy. I got a million questions. We're gonna talk about music now. But what I want to know, man, is I'm an artist. I think I'm a cool cat. I think I'm level-headed. I've been able to work with a lot of people. Ghetto Blaster, what up? Pamp, you know what up? You yourself, Skip. How is it working with all of these different attitudes? Where have you ever been in a situation, one of these guys or girls in the studio where it's just like, this shit ain't working, bro? Like, give me some dirt. Like, what is it?
I've been
What comes to your head when you think about something?
I've been pretty fortunate. Like a lot of the artists that I work with, they had already kind of paid their dues, and by the time they ended up working with me, they may have already had a record deal. Like somebody like Shantae Savage, for instance, she came in, she was humble because she was trying to get in the business. So I got to see her be a part of her development, of her becoming an actual artist that was viable, got signed to RCA Records and through ID Records. And
which
I
was
was
your,
able to see her.
no
Yeah.
doubt. ID Records was Steve's label. Am I
Yep.
correct?
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
let's get that out. ID Records was a serious, amazing label.
Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah. So like I got to see the development of these artists, and then she was developing at the same time as Cece was. When Cece came, she was a guest in our house, and one of the songs, Shantae was one of the writers on it.
Wow.
So it was
Wow.
like it was almost like a mini Motown,
Wow.
the way it was all set up. So it was really a great experience. I didn't run into a whole bunch of the attitudes and things like that. Not to say that nobody ever had an attitude, but I think it was more like we were just trying to get records done. So it wasn't really any time for attitudes. And I was kind of like cracking a whip with the vocals because um, one of my mentors is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Shout out to that.
Even before I met them, they were my mentors because I saw what they did with Janet and all the different and all the music that they made of their own SOS band and things like that. I just admired their writing and production, and to actually be able to work with them with Ann Nesby and stuff like that, I was able to learn how to work with artists and be able to handle like the emotional state of an artist when they're in the studio. Even like somebody like Shaka Khan, I worked with her in London on the Tu Wong Fu soundtrack. I did a record for her, and we actually got into it, but it was a very short-lived. It wasn't even really an argument. It was just I was this young dude that didn't know nothing. I knew a little bit, but I didn't know what she knew, especially about her voice. And I'm trying to tell her how to sing, and but I was right, but I had to be right in a more humble way. So it was a song that somebody else wrote that the movie company wanted sung a certain way. It was like an Aretha Franklin style singer named Chance who sang the song,
Right.
and then the song was called, I forgot the name of it. I'll remember it eventually, but it was on the Tu Wong Fu soundtrack. It's a really nice song.
Somebody look
They
that up right now.
wanted it. Yeah,
Somebody needs to look that up on Google right now
Yeah,
and find
yep.
that for me and Steve and put it up there on a comment.
Yep. Yeah. So
Somebody get that.
So her and I actually, I was trying to accomplish getting the song to sound good for the movie, which meant to sing it kind of like the same melody, but then just put the Shaka twist on it. Just her singing it is going to give it the Shaka twist. But she tried to kind of go in a different direction. Like she was into like a more jazzier style at that time because she had just done a jazz album or something. So she was trying to jazz the song up, and she was going outside the melody. And I was trying to get her to stay in the melody. So it was like this struggle. And then she was like, I don't know what you do with them other bees, but I'm Shaka Khan. And I was like, oh shit, I'm screwed.
I'm Shaka Khan.
I was like, I done messed up now. So I had to go with my tail between my legs and figure out a smarter way to handle it, which was basically just tell her, you know what, you're right. Let's sing it your way. Let's sing it down a couple of times your way, and then we'll sing it down a couple of times my way. And then when I get back to Chicago, I'll comp everything together and make sure I represent whatever, you feeling on this song as well. And then we were cool after that. I mean, she killed it. Yeah, she killed it.
I have a question for you, bro, that I think that is pretty deep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, whoa. I know how you are. I would never put you in a box. So I know that. But here's my question. You blew up. New York blew up. Everybody was making their dough. Everybody did their thing, including Frankie. What made you stay? What made you stay?
I wanted to have a normal life, for one. I got 4 kids. I remember some of the albums I was working on in like 89, 90, right around in there. I wasn't really seeing my son much. Like he's the oldest, Steve Jr. I would come home at 4 in the morning, and then now I would leave the studio at 4 in the morning, get home at maybe 5 or 6, just in time for them to be having their breakfast, and I'd sit down with them, and that would be how much I saw him. And then he would go to school, I would go to studio, and then I would see him again the next day for that period of time. So that was when I was working on a project, like a major album. Like if I'm working on a major album, I'm working like sometimes 2 straight days and just stay at the studio. So
An
yeah,
album.
So what I realized was that, you know, I could, you know, get into the DJing. I mean, DJing, I didn't know it was going to turn into what it turned into. But I'm glad I just kind of learned my craft in the studio. But by being in the studio, I was able to still have a normal life, and my kids could have a normal life. I could have moved to LA or New York, but then what kind of life do my kids have? Like who's making sure that they're, you know, in a good, like, are they in a good school? Like I was balling a little bit, but I wasn't balling like I'm gonna go move to New York and put them in a private school, and, you know, or move to Hollywood and have them in some private school, because then I don't want them in the public school, because then the kids are all messed up at Hollywood High. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to deal with that when you could just stay where you're at and still do what you're doing? Because I still had people in Chicago that were the creative people. I wanted to develop the people that we were developing. I wanted to do that, and not to mention, I didn't have to be in New York to produce a record. I did fine just in Brookfield, Illinois, which is where our studio was. It was in Brookfield. So that was away from everything, actually. So it was not necessary for me to move in order to be a producer. Now, if I wanted to be a DJ, when the DJ scene got bigger than the artist scene, then maybe the move would make sense, you know. But I kind of stuck with songwriting, producing, remixing, and later learned engineering and all that stuff. So because I was staying behind the scenes in my career more so, my first love, which is our second love, first love basketball, second love was actually music.
Did everybody hear that?
You
guys hear that, right? Steve's literally said, what? There it is.
Yeah, my first love was basketball, then DJ, and then music.
Did you ever, same gang, hold on, same gang, check it out. Everybody understand what this is? The Hector Lavoe joint? The Hector Lavoe joint? Yeah. You know, people that show us love, Steve, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other people, they're safe right there, man.
Yeah, I'm grateful for having that normal life, man. Like, and also being able to help some people from Chicago get on the map and be a part of that, and, you know, help people, songwriters, producers, artists. You know, it was great to have the other artists from other cities come to us and
you put it in my wheelhouse, bro. Let's go there. I'm a big fan of Steve, so it was kind of difficult for me. Shout out to DJ Skip for being always the glue, man. Guy's a genius. I could speak to him all day long. Shout out to the other side of SNS, 2 S's, guys. With everything that you have going on, you still give me the time of day all the time, no question about it. You're a huge supporter of my music and my creativity. I always give you props because, like I said, hey, I was a little kid and I saw you up there doing the Jack Your Body and all that stuff. It made me want to be like, whoa, Fuzzy Cufflinks is born, right?
You probably were like, if that guy could do it, I know I'm going to kill it.
K-Alexi,
because I wasn't even a performer. I had to learn how to take some classes pretty much to learn how to just be up on stage like that. Like that was some hard work trying to learn how to do steps.
K-Alexi's on here. Being surrounded by, at a young age, by people like yourself and K-Alexi, Fast Eddie, Tyree, Cool Rock, gave me the confidence to be like, yo, I'm a badass too. I can do that. But on a whole other level, DJing. This is where I want to go with this conversation real quick. You have to be a badass to be a Chicago house DJ.
Yeah.
At least where I'm from, which is you, all the way down. One thing that I could say, and K-Alexi would always back me up on this, and Roy Davis too. I mean, spare who, I would not claim to be a Chicago house DJ, and I would not claim that I could beat the decks if I wasn't able to hang with the gentlemen that are on this call right now. Steve Hurley, Roy Davis, KLXC, 3 of the best to have ever fucking done it.
Wow, thank you, brother.
Period. But at any time of day, I'm not scared to go on those decks as well. At any time.
That's
Here's
the way it's
deal.
supposed to be.
If it wasn't for the generation and culture that you guys provided us, like I thought that KLXC, when he would spin, would blow my fucking mind. The shit that he was saying, I was just like, well, here I am, 18 years old, in the basement with Armando and Mike Dunn. KLXC's upstairs, listening to your stuff being played all over the damn world. I didn't even know there was a video for like Love Can't Turn Around and all that other stuff until I got to Europe. Did you see the quality of DJing like go just gone compared to the way I'm saying you guys brought it? Where are we right now with the quality of a DJ?
I think technology is a gift and a curse, you know, because technology provides an opportunity to those who don't work as hard at their craft as we did. But if we embrace the technology as well, we could still share our knowledge with people and show our skill set, and by using the same technology they're using, but use it in our own innovative way. So there's always another level to go to. But if you're lazy, then you may just say, oh, well, you know, you could just use sync. So I'm going to just be a sync DJ and I'm just going to hit sync button and I'm going to just roll with it because I don't have to know how to beat match. I could just sync everything and it's all good. But what happens if the CDJs go down and there's some turntables there or some, you know, something different that you have to use where there is no sync? What are you going to do? And the people still want to hear the music, you know? So we mixed on tape decks. We mixed on cassette players. We mixed on reel-to-reels with no pitch control.
Yeah.
I slowed down the record to speed up, slow down the turntable to speed up the reel-to-reel, like to get it on beat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't slow down the reel-to-reel. I had to start the reel-to-reel on time and match the turntable to the reel-to-reel. I couldn't match the reel-to-reel to the turntable unless until I finally got a reel-to-reel with a pitch control. But it's just like a little knob that you turn to speed it up and down. It wasn't like the way the CDJs or the 1200s were with a big slider. It wasn't like that. So, you know, I really had to learn the art of beat matching in order to become a DJ.
Seen you do it.
Huh?
KLX said, I seen him do it. And I know he did. Shout out to Colette. What's up, Coco? My little sister's on here too.
Glenwood Roller Rink.
We in here.
That's probably where I saw KLXC a bunch of times before I even really truly met him. You know?
Really?
Him and Hula and Maurice Joshua and Silk, like all those guys.
How old were you at that?
Brothers. I was probably almost 20, maybe 19, 20.
And where was this popping out? So you're saying that Silk, all the guys from the Out Here Brothers, was Cashier in that crew too?
You know what? He could have been. I don't know for sure, but I remember Hula and Maurice booked me to go to some place. I think it was called the Lodge or something. It was some place out in Midlothian, and that place was off the hook, man. They had a built-in audience that was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like loving. I came in there with my 4-track recorder and was playing I Can't Turn Around demo that I just did, and they were losing it. And that's kind of one of those moments where I was like, man, these people are reacting. They never heard this before, but they're reacting to my music. I gotta take this serious. Like,
so now I've had a couple of glasses of wine, and I know that we've been in it for a minute, so I gotta get to it. Hold on, everybody. Get ready. Y'all ready? Yep. Give it up for Steve Silk Hurley, people. Jesus Christ. You know who that is? So we got like Ghetto Blasters on here. Roy Davis is on here. Colette is on here. KLXC. Do you see what happens with the Bochinche sessions? It's just like us kicking it at a party. But we're here on my phone.
I'm loving it.
Let me go there real quick. Here we go.
Yeah, go. Sippy sip, man. Sippy sip.
Here we go. The radio shit. What was up with the GCI versus BMX team? Where were you at with all this stuff? Like,
man, I started out I
With
started on
real shit.
I was on WXRT, then I was on VON. Nobody was giving me a chance to get on
That's what
BMX or GCI.
I'm
Like I had
what,
to work. I had to actually work my way up. I was on the Herb Kent gave me an opportunity to be on VON. Like I just gradually kept moving up and up and up, and just kept trying to learn my craft.
but you
I
wait,
wasn't great when I first started.
rewind something. You just said I wasn't given a chance on BMX or GCI. Like they, what was
No,
up with that?
I'm saying I had to earn that at some point. I had to like work my way up to being
Even though they're
BMX Hot Mix 5 was already set. You know, it was they already had their people. But then when I think Scott was leaving, then they had the DJ battle, and I was a part of that, and I won the South Side by the skin of my teeth against Little John and some other and Ferris and those guys. Those guys, man, they had me sweating. Like these young NBA players be having the veterans sweat. That's what I felt
Caesar,
like. I was like,
CZR.
man, I can't be relaxing. And then in the finals, I guess Julian won. You know, I didn't agree with the decision, but hey, he's a good DJ too. I mean, like it didn't really matter because my destiny was my destiny. Whatever I was destined to do, whatever's for me is for me. So I'm not trying to get somebody else's blessing if they already got it. You know, and then eventually it just happened for me, you know, that I got on BMX. I was on GCI before that, BMX. Man, moved around a lot. I mean, got on the Tom Joyner show later. For like 20 years, I was doing those mashups on Tom Joyner. So I had a lot of experience in radio from a mix standpoint. You know, pioneering different styles of mixing and things like that. So that was fun. You know, it's just fun. Like every chapter in my life, I've enjoyed. You know, like I said, when you do what you love, you can put in a lot of hard work. I didn't say it was easy, but I said I enjoyed it. So it's two different things. You know, if you actually enjoy what you do, and you can be grateful for being able to do that, as opposed to, like I said, when I was working a city job and I was looking at the clock. I look at the clock, it's 9:30 in the morning. I look at the clock, and that's only I've been there for an hour. I look at it again, it's 10, 10:30, 11. I'm looking like every half an hour. And then it's finally 4:30 and I'm finally
Up
off.
there,
Like,
I'm
and
with you.
then I go home and I try to mess with some DJing stuff and start trying to learn how to write songs. And I wrote Music is the Key at my job. Like I wrote that rap sitting on the toilet, just being honest, you know. I just acted like I was
Toilet man does
I
one.
said I don't feel good. And then I went to the toilet.
The
Because
toilet,
I wanted to finish writing that verse. Music is the key to set yourself free. You know,
shout
all
out
that crazy.
toilet as
Yep.
an artist, as Fuzzy Cufflinks and all the thousands of vocals I do. Shout out to the toilet.
Yeah. I don't
And
even think I was using the toilet. I was just in there acting like I was using the toilet at that particular time.
we got
But
a few more minutes, bro. We got a few more minutes. I want to talk about music now. You and Skip are taking making some huge things happen. Big things. I'm saying it right now. I'm coming out with my next album. Will be on SNS. We're already talking about it.
yeah.
So watch out for my new album. Will be dropping soon on SNS. We're getting all
Yeah.
that together. One thing that you guys do that I don't see anybody really do is you put so much love into the singles and the releases. You might have 30, 40 remixes of some shit.
Yeah.
And
We
that's
like to give people the opportunity, you know, because we've had situations where we had 20 remixes on the song, and the hottest mix is the 20th one that was done. Like, and we didn't know when we put it out which one was going to be the one that people were going to gravitate to. Sometimes it's not the one that you think. So we want to give people that opportunity because, like I said, when I was coming up as a DJ, I had to earn it. Like you said, in Chicago, to compete, you got to really know your stuff. Like you had to put in the time to learn your craft in order to be at a level where people would even hire you to DJ a party. Like, think about that. Like, you're trying to get hired to DJ a party at a school or something. You know, this is before you even get on the radio. You're trying to just get people to notice you, or you're trying to get on that house music, that party at somebody's house with 20 people in the basement, and you want to be the person who's DJing. You borrowing speakers from people and amps, and back when you had to have amps and speakers, and you know, it was a lot of work. to try to do that. So if it wasn't something that you really enjoy, you probably wouldn't be able to do a good job, which is why a lot of people that were DJing back in the day, they stopped because they realized, you know what, I think I'd rather just, be an engineer, or I'd rather be something else. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I can put in this kind of work because the return ain't good, but I didn't really care about the return. I moved out of the house, against my father. My father said I couldn't DJ after I won a big DJ battle at Sawyer's, and
that was it.
And he said either you're going to do what I say, you're going to move out, or you're going to get out. And I said deuces, and then I moved out. But my father ended up being my biggest supporter when it was time for me to do my first record. He loaned me money to put out Music Is the Key.
So now moving forward, bro, like now what? Like, where are we taking SNS now? Because I'm part of it. I'm really excited. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing that's different than what these cats are doing now? Where are we going?
We're always forward thinking. Like you think about all the different things coming, the metaverse, the NFTs, all the different things that are happening in this world that are looked at as future things. They're really the present if you get involved in things now and you become an innovator in certain things, then you can be a spearhead. You can spearhead different movements and things. So we want to do everything we can to help expose the artists to whatever platforms that are out there. So that's what we're always thinking about. Like we never see something and say, that looks crazy, because nothing really looks crazy to us. Because house music, they thought that was crazy. Jack Your Body, some people call it devil music. My manager called it devil music. He was joking, but he was like, "What is this, devil music?" But I always remembered that. But then that ended up being one of my biggest records that put money in his pocket. So it was just like, you just can't let being against the grain or being to the left be something that's a negative. It needs to be a positive. Like most of the people that have any success in any industry, they were different from everybody else. They weren't the same. They weren't falling in line. You know what I'm saying?
We got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes left.
Oh, they about to kick us out.
No, we're gonna kick it out. This is Bochinche sessions. We'll talk shit all night. I gotta go there. Yo, at the end, I had to take hashtag talk that off because Steve has such a huge audience. Out of respect, Steve was like, "I'm not with the, I was like, "Cool." Within 5 minutes, change the flyers and everything to give Steve his respect. And I appreciate your time and your love, bro. Hey, we all do.
Hey, we all say the S word every now and then. We all say the S word.
You deserve the flowers, bro. Like thank you, the rep from all of us. No. I know that you hear it a lot, but from a Puerto Rican kid from Humble Park, from Chicago, bro, that made house music his career, master's degree in education, all this other stuff I've done.
You're doing it.
But I'm here in Miami, and we're doing it because we talk a lot.
Yep. I'm excited about the project coming, man.
On that we're going to talk about my project. That's going to be a whole
Fuzzy cufflinks, baby. Fuzzy cufflinks.
It's going to be a whole other Bochinche sessions, baby. But
Feature and Bear Who. Fuzzy cufflinks and Bear Who are on this album, I think.
Yeah,
both of them are on there, right?
Queen. Cry for the Queen was released. The Rum Drinker hit, So shout out to everybody that helped.
Wepa Beats, man. Wepa Beats.
Wepa Beats.
Don't be sleeping on the Wepa
2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Thank you to everybody that showed up. Too many to name. Roy, Khaled, Pam, Skip, 3J, everybody. But here's my last question. My wife, Pooja, who helps me do this every day. You coming to Miami for the winter? You coming or what?
Yeah, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out how to make that happen. It's been crazy out here the last few years, so we haven't been moving around too much. But
I heard it's snowing. Yeah. I heard it's snowing over there.
Oh man, I was gonna surprise you, and I was gonna go out on my deck and sit in some chairs in the snow and just do the live right there.
Hey, well listen,
just so you can feel my pain.
My temple is ready for you. I told you we're gonna make some crazy stuff in the temple. It's blessed. The pool outside is getting nice and ready for you and Skip, so you got a place to hang. And once I get you in my studio, we're gonna do a live here. We're gonna get crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna get crazy. I'm excited about it.
Thank you, man. Everybody,
right,
give
bro.
it up to the man, Steve Hurley.
Bear who?
Thanks, my brother. Everybody, thank you for another session. Bochinche Sessions.
All right.
We're going to do this again next week. Next week, I got Ghetto Blaster on here.
Shout out to everybody.
We're going to get busy.
Supporting.
Love you guys. Thank you, Steve, for your time, for Skip, everybody that tuned in. I do this every Wednesday now. Every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, one of the homies is on here.